to our top 5 this week. Each week we do a top 5 of anything and everything in sports, really. You can catch our top 5s on our social at Jon-Bernard K and subscribe to the YouTube at the JBK Show. You can also check our top 5s at Picklebet as well over on Instagram. This week's top 5 is top 5 biggest sports in the world.
Top 5 most popular sports in the world.
So this is based on popularity. We're going to bring in stats and figures into this because we are a stats-based show. We like to fact-check a lot of things. So as I said, top 5 most popular sports in the world, starting with number 5, tennis, coming in at number 5. And I agree with this. A lot of people get into tennis recreationally, whether you're young and old. It transcends generations. Right now, according to the stats, over 1 billion people in the world play tennis. 1.13% of the world's population play tennis.
1 billion total fans for tennis in the world. 1% of the entire world does play tennis, whether that be professionally or recreationally. So, I mean, it's not surprising. Around Australian Open, all the big Grand Slams, everyone tunes into tennis.
It's a worldwide sport. There's Grand Slams across the globe. That makes sense. That's tennis at number 5.
And it's probably the only sport where I enjoy watching females play, and they play it well, as good as the men.
That's very true. And they get the same prize money.
Yeah. At number 4, hockey. Very surprising at number 4.
I don't get hockey.
So this includes both field and ice hockey, with a total fans of 2.2 billion people in the world. I don't know where these 2.2 billion have come from. I don't know anyone that watches hockey. I know a lot of people that play field hockey because it's a girls' sport in Australia. But even then, who's supporting this? Where are the fans coming from?
NHL is massive overseas in the States.
Northern Europe as well.
And Canada. Ice hockey is huge. So I understand from that aspect. I didn't know it could come in at number 4. Field hockey. Imagine your son comes up to you and says, "Dad, I want to play field hockey." I mean, it's not the most manly sport. I mean, you got to respect the skill. It looks hard. But that's a surprise for me that's at number 4.
Who watches field hockey or ice hockey? I don't know.
Number 3, this makes a lot of sense. Basketball.
Yeah,
Basketball, again, a massive worldwide sport. We've got NBL over here in Australia. NBA is a massive global product. Looking at the stats alone, the total fans of basketball in general, 2.4 billion people. Again, it gets popular around NBA finals time in Australia. And just global superstars. In the 90s, it was Michael Jordan. Right now, it's LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. It's a game that can be played by everyone. You know, whether you're a small point guard shooting threes or big centers. And I agree with it. The numbers in juniors over in Australia as well just continues to climb. NBL's getting bigger and bigger here. Basketball's a massive sport, and that's number 3.
I'm actually surprised it's not higher on the list. Everyone you know tunes into basketball or plays it recreationally, and it's probably the most global sport that I could think of, probably besides soccer. But at number 2, cricket. With a total fan base of 2.5 billion people.
That's because of the Indians.
Well, by the stats, approximately 90% of these fans belong to the Indian subcontinent, which probably includes Pakistan, India. I mean, for a game that started in England and that doesn't really garner a lot of attention outside of India, Australia, and England.
Well, they have such a massive population. What is it? Like a few billion people.
They're closing in on 2 billion in their terms of population. But I just think people don't give cricket enough respect. It's actually one of the most, revenue-generated sports in the world as well. If you look at their superstars, Virat Kohli, one of the most popular athletes in the world.
He's up there with the Ronaldos and Messis.
He's only trailing Ronaldo and Messi in terms of Instagram following for athletes in the world. So that shows you the popularity of cricket. These Indians love their cricket, and it shows in the top 5 why it's so high. Cricket at number 2.
Number 1, I think it's an obvious answer. Football.
Soccer.
Or soccer. The Ailing fans might start crying on Twitter if you call it soccer. But again, this one's pretty obvious. It's the world game. Football's played everywhere. The junior statistics are massive. They got 8 divisions playing under 8s, right? It's the world game. It's very easy to understand. Ball goes in net. That's a goal. That's 1 point. It's not hard to learn what's a foul and what's not. Offside, very easy to understand. It's a world sport and can be enjoyed by everyone. FIFA is huge across the globe as well.
World Cup's massive.
World Cup, coming off a massive World Cup. I mean, anyone and everyone can understand the game of soccer, play the game of soccer, or football, apologies, and it's the world sport for a reason.
And looking at the stats, 3.5 billion recorded fans worldwide.
Jeez.
That might be an understatement. I think it could be higher because everywhere in the globe, soccer's played. You tune into the World Cup, one of the biggest, actually the biggest sporting event in the world, and you look at the stars, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar. They're the biggest global superstar athletes in the world. So if you're looking at the most popular sport, it has to be football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
That makes a lot of sense. That's our top 5 most popular sports in the world. Couple honourable mentions I'm surprised didn't make the list. Rugby,
You were surprised it didn't make the
I'm
list?
surprised rugby did it. It's a global sport as well. It's an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I'm gonna count WWE as a.
Wrestling's not a sport.
Okay, no, I'm only joking. But maybe UFC could have been on the list as well as a global phenomenon.